this video, I'm going to show you how you can add expectations to a rubric and then assess a student's learning using that rubric and the expectations. The focus is going to be on the expectations, not really the rubric. So the first step is going to go to the rubrics tool just to show you how to add the expectations to the rubric. And I am making the assumption that you already have the assessments added to your course. So I'm now going to edit a rubric that I have not used yet. If I've already used it to evaluate student work, then I won't be able to edit the rubric, but I could copy the rubric and do a slight modification to it with the name and then, of course, with the expectations. So I'm going to go ahead and edit the rubric. And you'll see that the rubric is loading. This is a pretend rubric I'm using just to demonstrate. And you can see one example already where I've added an expectation. To add an expectation to another row of your rubric, you can click on the word expectation, and the expectations that have been loaded into your course will appear. I do suggest that it is best to try and work with overall expectations so that you can assess the big ideas or big key important aspects of the course. Looking at and assessing will be really hard to do if you include all the expectations. It's just simply too many and it's difficult to see the trends in learning. So I'm just going to randomly go through and pick a couple. But if you are searching for something specific that you want to add to the expectation, you can do a search for using Control F on your keyboard and then look for a keyword that you might use. So I'm going to just choose a keyword that might be important in this technology course. And I'm going to check off a couple of expectations to show you what that looks like and then add. And you'll see now that I have both of those expectations and they are listed by the short form, but they also have a greater listing of the expectation if you hover over it. And I'm done with that rubric now. So I am going to now go to an assignment and add that rubric and then evaluate that assignment. So I'm going to be looking for something where I actually have some work in, so you can see what that will look like. And I'm going to go ahead and edit this assignment. And then I'm going to scroll down and I'm looking for adding a rubric. So I already have a rubric that I have listed here, so I'm just going to get rid of these ones. And this is just a test course, so I'm not too worried about removing that particular rubric. And the one that I was playing with was known as test, and I'm going to add that selected rubric. Just going to move the tool out of the way, and I'm going to save and close. Okay, now that I have added that rubric, I'm ready to evaluate this particular assignment. So I'm just going to look through, this is of course a fake course, and so I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the work, and I'm going to look at giving feedback based on the rubric that's there. So there is the rubric. So I can open up the rubric and I can provide feedback for the student with this rubric. You can see that this is not a particularly robust rubric. I don't have it complete with maybe all of the different levels or other items that you might want to have here. But you can, of course, still add feedback to the rubric like you normally would. And you will see that the expectations are actually below the rubric. And then what you can do is you can give the rubric or the student, you can evaluate based on the expectations that have been added to the rubric and give them a level on there. So I'm going to just go ahead and you can see when I click on the rubric, you're going to get a different color scheme because the scale has a different color scheme with green, and you can see blue and then red and then sort of a gray color that's there. So I'm going to go ahead and give the student a level, and I'm going to update that feedback. Now to see what that looks like, you want to view progress for that student. So I'm going to do that by going to the class list and find the student in this particular example, and I'm going to view their progress. And you can see that one of the summary items is expectations. Unfortunately, I have too many expectations, so it's very challenging if I use too many expectations here. I really want to focus when I'm using the expectations tool on just including the overall expectations. This becomes very overwhelming if you don't do it that way. And now you can see that I have evaluated the student using expectations, whether you do it through the rubric or you do it directly by adding the expectations to assignments, discussions, and so on. You will see the trend that's there for the student by using that. So the overall expectations are key for this. Hope that helps you out. Thanks for watching.